Welcome back to the channel, everybody. How you doing tonight? So, got some cards to sort, and I figure I'd go over a bunch of the news happening right now, or, in the recent future, or recent past, not recent future, but going to happen in the recent future, since the last time I recorded one of these sorting and rambling videos here. So, bunch of new stuff coming up down the pipe here. The biggest thing is Friday Night Magic is officially canceled until June 1st now. WotC has pushed it back. They're not sponsoring any local store events until at least June 1st. You know, the company that said they're trying really hard to support local game stores during this time is gonna not sponsor any of their events for another month. Yeah, so I'm not sure those two, that statement and the action coincide very well together there, but I guess it is what it is. Personally, I think they should be letting the stores decide that, because obviously the stores, need to be the ones in charge of when they start making income again and if it's safe in their area to do so, because some areas got hit harder than others. Some areas didn't get hit at all. I mean, a lot of stores in the Midwest, they had no problems at all because the current problem never got to that area. So, it's kind of, I think, pretty awful of them to do it the way they did it. They should really let the stores decide whether it's safe or not for the store to reopen and do Friday Night Magic. They really shouldn't take it upon themselves to do that. My personal opinion. I think the stores know better, and the stores should have the right to call whether or not they're going to be able to do sponsored events. I think it's kind of lazy and it's just kind of not what they said they're doing. They said they're going to try and support stores as much as they can through this thing, and then they're just not showing that. They said they were going to go in the free boxes of mystery boosters, but to my knowledge, each store's only gotten a couple. They haven't even gotten. I don't even know if any stores have gotten multiple cases or not. I think most stores have only gotten a few boxes to a case, maybe, unless they're just not telling me because they're trying to hold on to them and get more money out of them later. I don't know. That could be, but here nor there, really. It's really the thing I wanted to bring up is that they postponed sponsoring any store events at all for another month, until June 1st, which is just terrible. I mean, these stores need to start getting some income in there, so I don't think they should be, a lot of these stores, like I said, are out in the middle of nowhere that are in areas that didn't get affected by this, so they shouldn't be forced by WotC to remain closed. Or at least not be able to have sponsored events if there's no danger in their area. I think they should be able to make the call on their own whether or not they should open and it be safe, and also their local government, obviously. The governments are deciding when stores can open and stuff. It's not the stores themselves really doing a lot of that decision making, but if the local governor says it's okay for the store to open and have events like Friday Night Magic, which aren't really, they're not huge get-togethers like a concert or a movie or anything like that. You're talking, most stores average probably 10 to 30 people on a Friday Night Magic. Some of the more popular stores in better areas maybe up to 40, 50 people, but still, and these are usually pretty decent sized stores that handle that type of volume. But the governor should be, able to say, which they are, they're able to say, this store can open for this many people, and if the store is able to do a Friday Night Magic within those boundaries, then they should be able to, and WotC should be jumping at the chance to sponsor events in their store. They said they were gonna put the stores first, and they're not trying to steal everything over to online with the arena, but it sure as hell looks like it with actions like that. It looks like they're trying to force people to stay on arena for another month. whether they want to or not. So I think that's pretty lame. Not really big on that decision at all. I think it's a terrible decision. Just to let you guys know, I'm going to start off with kind of the bad news, and then we'll go into just some of the conversation stuff, and then we'll end the video with some good news. So it's not going to be completely ranting from start to finish. Don't worry. I know I was ranting quite a bit the other night when I was opening the Battle for Zendikar box. It was really late. I was just in a ranting mood for some reason. Plus, I only got $15 worth of cards out of that $150 box. So, yeah, that wasn't fun. Anyways, back to the topic at hand there. So, Friday Night Magic's canceled until June 1st. WotC is not going to support any stores doing Friday Night Magic for the next month. Yeah, like I said, I think that's terribly lame and just very poor decision making on WotC's behalf. But whatever. We shouldn't be surprised by them making decisions like that at this point, I assume. It's all about the almighty dollar. Anyways, so the other terrible decision that they've made here recently that I am not happy about at all is they are canceling your DCI number. If you have multiple DCI numbers, or if you just have an older DCI number that is not related to current MTGO or Arena, then they're going to cancel your number and take away all of your history of play. All the tournaments you've ever been in, every rating you've ever got, every game you've ever won or lost is about to get erased. So, I've already reached out to WotC and tried to combine all mine into one, because I obviously had a very old DCI number, one of the real early DCI numbers actually, because I started playing DCI events back in like Invasion Block. I think I actually got my DCI card. They are also discontinuing the Planeswalker points. So any Planeswalker points you have accrued, you might want to try to cast them in if possible, because they are about to go bye-bye. No more Planeswalker points, or whatever they're called. I haven't even looked into whether or not I have any of those I need to. They said they were able to combine my accounts into my current Arena DCI number and move my old one with all its information over to the new one. So if you reach out to them, you might be able to get them to combine your accounts. And they said that I'll be able to still see my play history, with the exception of, they said any judged events. I don't know what that means. I don't know if they mean Friday Night Magic events or if they mean actual like Magic Fests and stuff like that. I assume they mean like Magic Fests and stuff. Otherwise, there was no point in me going through all that trouble and talking back and forth to them for a week solid to try and make that happen. But I guess it was only a few days. But yeah, I did reach out to them. They did say that they combined my accounts. It's just going to take like 72 hours to get them, to get all that worked out to where it actually shows up, so I can go in and see my play history, which I've been curious to do anyway, because I haven't been able to get into my DCI since I got back into it, because it didn't recognize the number because it's an old number and stuff like that. But I would like to get back in there and see, because I worked really hard at the DCI stuff for many years. I was pretty much always in the top 20, sometimes in the top 12 or 10 even, in my county for several years. I was pretty serious about playing every weekend and building a lot of standard decks and playing in all the tournaments and anything that was local. I didn't go to the Magic Fest or anything like that. I've never been to one of the big conventions or fests or anything. Just because, I, up until a couple of years ago, was always super poor, living paycheck to paycheck, and couldn't afford to do stuff like that. So, that's just how, life works out for some people. So, these days I would be able to do stuff like that, but you know, the old CVs kind of attacking us here, and all that stuff shut down for probably the rest of the year. So I don't see any of the Magic Fest or anything happening for the rest of the year, at least, because obviously those would be much larger kind of get together type things, so there'd be a lot more people in a lot smaller cramped area. And the good news about that, though, is that they were declining pretty bad, and there's a good chance that once people are able to get back and do those things again without the crazy fear of the demic here, there's a good chance that a lot more people might actually go out to them, because, you know, it's something that they've probably taken for granted for, you know, several years, and that's why the admissions were kind of declining and stuff. And now that they've been forced to not be able to do that, maybe they'll realize, you know, how much fun it was, and that they actually do want to go to those things. I could be wrong, but I hope I'm right. I hope people actually realize that those things are really cool events, and, you know, they're lucky that they can get to go to them. You know, I'm really hoping to be able to kind of attend some myself. I don't know if I'll be able to play in them, because you know, I've been out of the game for so long. It's going to take me quite a while to get back into the swing to where I can probably compete on that type of a level. But it'd still be fun to go to one of those things, just to watch, and just to, you know, get some of the crazy prizes and stuff, and just experience the whole thing, because it's something I've never been able to do. So, while most people have been taking it for granted, I've been, you know, sitting here on the other side of the fence going, man, I wish I could do cool stuff like that, you know. I wish I could travel out of town and go to some big magic festival, you know, type thing. So, speaking of which, a little good news. I did order from Channel Fireball the Magic Fest in a box. So I have that coming, and I will open it on camera once I get it. I know they have been pretty backed up on shipping and stuff, because they were closed down. I think only like a couple people were actually doing anything for the past month or so, but they actually did send me an email the other day saying they are back up and running as far as their shipping. Still a smaller crew, and they're doing things kind of slow, because they're trying to, you know, watch out for their employees' safety, which is very admirable. But they did say they are shipping stuff, so hopefully I'll get that soon. I can open that on camera and let you guys see. I did get the Commander one, which is actually basically 4 of everything. So, you know, it's probably a ridiculous amount of money, but, you know, I think stuff like that will actually probably age pretty well. You know, those full art textless Path to Exile look amazing. So yeah, I couldn't pass up getting a bunch of those, and it also comes with 4 mystery playmats, and I'm sure you guys are sick to death of seeing the one playmat that I own, the Amonkhet playmat there. I love the playmat, but it's been in every video I've ever done since I got it, which the first probably 10 or 20 videos I didn't have a playmat at all, so that was an upgrade, I guess. But I'm sure you guys are sick of seeing that same old playmat, so now I'll have a few more playmats I can kind of cycle through once in a while, so that every video doesn't look the exact same on the background there. So good news for you guys. I'll be getting one of those and showing off some fancy cards, and have some different playmats to change up my backgrounds once in a while. So I just don't like spending money on stuff that's purely aesthetic. So I'm pretty frugal with how I spend my money these days. You know, I try to really get the most bang out of my buck that I can. So that's why I kind of get a little crabby sometimes when I open a box that I've spent $150 on and only get $15 in cards. But anyways, I digress. You know, if any of you guys got old playmats that are just taking up a bunch of space, you know, feel free to send them to me. I'll use them for backgrounds. I'll definitely give you a shout out for that. Yeah. So, anyways, back to the topics at hand here. I get sidetracked pretty easy. I'm sure you guys have watched my videos before and you're aware of that. So, That's just how it is with me. All right, so my next topic, one that I'm definitely going to rant about, is the Secret Lair Godzilla lands. They're official, it's announced, and I don't know if they're actually going to have English versions. The pictures that Washi put on their site are still the Japanese ones, so I don't know if they're going to actually be Japanese text on the cards or what, but they did announce that it is official, and those leaked photos we saw like a month ago were real. They actually are doing the Secret Lair Godzilla lands next, because, you know, they've been shut down for a month and they can't support Friday Night Magics, but they can still try and get money out of us on these Secret Lairs. It is only $29.99 for the 5 lands. They are foil, they are full art. The art is gorgeous, I will admit it. I do love the artwork on them. I think the artist did just a spectacular job on them. Artists. I think there was a different artist on each one. If I am correct, I don't know. Leave a comment if it's the same artist or 5 different artists. I think it's 5 different artists. But they're gorgeous. I love them. I think they look really, really cool. Am I going to buy them, even though they're only $29.99 for the 5 lands? No, because I don't buy any Secret Lairs. I think Secret Lairs are a really bad example of watching the secondary market and trying to hone in on that at our expense. So I don't like the ideal behind it. I just don't think I think it's very toxic to the game, the whole Secret Lair thing in general. So I don't support Secret Lairs. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I mean, if you like the Secret Lairs and you got the extra money to waste on them, go for it. You know, whatever you want to do. That's just my personal opinion. I'm kind of like that. You know, when a company like comes out against something I believe in, like some of these companies trying to fight against our Second Amendment rights and refuse to stand by the constitutional rights that we were given in this country, I stopped shopping at their stores. So that's why you won't see me very often, unless it's unavoidable, at like the good old Wally World or Walgreens or any of them affiliated with them, because of the fact that they're anti-American, pretty much, in my views. So I'm pretty strict about stuff like that. So, you know, something that I don't believe in, that I think is toxic, to something that I do believe in, like the Secret Lairs, which is, let's call it like it is. It's literally them making money off the secondary market. I don't believe in it, and I'm not going to support it. But, you know, to each their own. Just because I feel that way doesn't mean I'm going to hate on you because you like them. I mean, if you like the Secret Lairs and you want to buy them, go for it. I mean, they're good-looking cards. There's nothing wrong with them. You know, it's just I just don't believe in the what they're doing with those. I don't like the way that they're doing it. They need to stay out of the secondary market. Personally, I think they're kind of like crossing some legal boundaries, I think, with that, to be honest. But anyways, enough about that. One of the main reasons that a lot of people are upset about the Godzilla lands, even though they're one of the least, they're the cheapest, they're at the cheapest that they've done for any of the Secret Lairs, is because, so the Eldraine Wonderland set was 5 lands, foil, full art, and $29.99. The Godzilla lands, 5 lands, gorgeous full art that they had to pay specifically for that artwork to more recognized artists, which probably was a lot more expensive than the Eldraine Wonderland art. And that was $29.99 as well. So even though it cost them more, they're selling for the same price. But the Secret Lair Ultimate, or Secret Lair Fetchland, which is 5 lands, that I don't even think they paid for new artwork, or they might have paid for new artwork, but they're not like, I don't think they were probably a lot cheaper than the Godzilla art, because they didn't have to pay for licensing and stuff, as well as the artist. And non-foil, so cheaper to make. They're hosing people at a minimum of $165, and as we've seen, most stores are charging between $350 and $500 for that set. I think that's just despicable. The whole thing is just despicable. It's there's no other way to describe it. It's terrible. It's just horrendous that they would do such a thing. It's the same 5 cards, just with a little bit different text on them, and it was actually cheaper because they had to pay for licensing on the Godzilla cards. You know, they had to pay for foiling on the Godzilla and the the Eldraine ones. Oh look, and perfect example. This is another example right here. We're gonna put that right there for a second. So it's embarrassing that people aren't just absolutely furious about this and just tearing into Wizards, because it's pathetic. It's just awful that they would release 3 of the same exact card set, 5 basic land or 5 lands, and the one that cost them probably the least to make because it's non-foil and no they didn't have to pay for any rights to use it, any extra permissions, is, you know, 10 times the price. Well, not 10 times the price, but, you know, a lot more expensive by a drastic amount, because those cards are worth more on the secondary market, and it is 100% obvious and undeniable that WotC is using the secondary market to make money. They are trying to cash in on the secondary market by printing cards that have value on the secondary market. So it's insider trading. I mean, there's no other way to look at it. It shouldn't be legal for them to do that, to charge a premium price for a card that has a premium secondary market value. The master sets were already a little bit kind of into that vein, which I'm sorting iconic masters right now. They knew that cards were valuable, and if they reprinted them, they could charge twice as much for the boxes, even though there was less cards. There's only 24 packs of 15 instead of 36 packs of 15. And the boxes were twice as much. So they've been doing it for a while and getting away with it, and now they're just really starting to exploit that and do it more and more. And the secret lairs are just obvious. They're selling single cards for secondary market prices, and people are actually buying them, which is, you know, sad. But what you gonna do? You can't control other people. I don't like it. I think it's embarrassing. So if you saw the Professor Talarian's interview with the dude at WotC about when he was asking questions about the Fetchlands and why they aren't printing them in standard sets, his excuse was it slows down the gameplay too drastically, and that another evolving wilds. I'll put that right there for now. Because you have to sack them, then you got to search your library, and then you got to reshuffle and stuff. He said that it slowed down the gameplay too much and didn't make a fun gameplay environment at draft nights. That's why they don't want them in standard. It's just too much deck shuffling, too much searching. They don't want them in standard because it slows down the gameplay and ruins the gameplay environment for the players. At first, I was like, okay, I can see that. That's a very good argument. And then I came across one of these going through some packs the other night. Good old Evolving Wilds. And I was like, sacrifice Evolving Wilds, search your library for a basic land card, put it into the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle your library. Isn't that exactly like a fetch land? You just can't go get a specific land, and you don't have to pay a life. And it comes into play tapped instead of untapped. So wait a minute. This is doing the exact same thing. Another card is Fable Passage. Does the exact same thing. Search your library, sacrifice it, search your library for a land card, basic land card, put it into play tap, and reshuffle your library. So there is currently, in standard, legal, because this set was in, I believe, both Theros and Theros Beyond Death, and it's in the new Ikoria set as well, and Fable Passage and Throne of Eldraine. So the last 3 sets all have fetch lands, to a total of Every deck can stack 8 Fetchlands in it legally in Standard. We're already using Fetchlands in Standard. They're just not quite as good, and they're not worth as much on the secondary market. WotC can't make money off of them. That's the only reason that they are not putting Fetchlands in Standard sets. They make more money selling them to us directly and abusing the secondary market. So, yeah, that's my viewpoint on it. That argument was complete and total BS because obviously Evolving Wilds and Fable Passage are currently legal. They printed them in standard sets, standard booster boxes, at common no less. That's a common. It's a common card. It's been in every set in standard since it was invented, since they designed it, you know. It hasn't rotated out of standard. I'm pretty sure Evolving Wilds has been in standard since the day that card was first printed. So that argument was just complete, you know, walk around of the truth. He was lying. He was absolutely lying because, as you can see, we got 8 legal Fetchlands in standard right now. No problem. They do not have a problem with Fetchlands. They don't care about it slowing down the gameplay from shuffling your library because they print it in every set at a common. But because that card's not worth $100 a piece, this card right here, which I keep coming across in every set, because it's not worth $100 a piece, they can't make a lot of money on it by selling it in secret lairs. So there you have it. That's the problem. And again, so after I kind of saw that Evolving Wild and realized that, one, I felt like a complete dummy that I fell for that. Two, it infuriated me because they tried to hoodwink me with that excuse when it's obvious BS. So there you go. That's my opinion on the Secret Lair Godzilla lands. They're great looking. I love the art. I'll probably pick some up down the road when the prices tank, and I can pick them up really cheap, like the Eldraine Wonderlands you can get for way less than they were sold for new. You know, or trade for them down the road or something like that, because I don't see the value on them going up at all. But they look really cool. Great artwork. So, yeah, I can't hate on anybody that buys them if you want to buy them. But just remember what you're supporting when you buy them. You know, you're supporting $400 Fetchlands, you know. And watch his greed. But anyways, on to the next topic is Space Godzilla. Woo! Everybody's favorite topic. So I have watched probably every Ikoria collector's box opening that is on YouTube right now. Anybody that's posted one, I've probably watched it. And I have never once seen a collector's box with less than 2 of that card in it. Maybe once. I might have seen one that only had 1 in it. But 99 times out of 100, you're going to get a non-foil and a foil. And I've seen several boxes with 2 non-foils and a foil, and I've even seen a box with 2 foils and a non-foil. So that uncommon card that people are trying to hose you for still around $120 for the foil and like $50 for the non-foil. Don't buy it. Please, for the love of God, don't spend your money on that card. It's gonna tank harder than any Magic card in history, I think. That card's gonna be worth probably, I'll go out on a limb and say like $8 to $10, like maybe $8 for the non-foil and $10 for the foil, because, and that's being generous, I think, because, yeah, it's just, there's so many of them out there. Every single collector's box is considered a first print run. So every single collector's box has at least 2 in it, and every single collector's box is going to have at least 2 in it. And they've printed probably hundreds of thousands of those collector's boxes. So do yourself a favor and do not waste your money on that. I don't care how sought after of a misprint it is. Yeah. I hope you don't waste your money on that, because that would be very sad, because it's not gonna hold up in value. The card is I mean, it's a cool card, great card. I like its affected. I think that's the one, if you cycle it, you can put a death touch counter on a creature you control. So, and it's 1 black and 2 colorless, I think, to do that. So great card, great ability. But, you know, the misprint version, there's going to be so many of them out there, it's not going to be worth a lot of money. I mean, there's a ton of them out there. If you're speculating on those and you've dumped a bunch of money onto them, I would recommend cut your losses and get out while you can, because they're going to go way down. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. I mean, there's going to be... So let's just go on the low ball side and say there's 100,000 collector's boxes out there, which is probably a very low estimate. There's probably a lot more than that. But on the low side, say there's 100,000 collector's boxes. You average 2 per box. That's 200,000 of that card out there. How much value do you think something can have when there's over 200,000 of it? And that's just counting collector's boxes. Now, don't forget, the first print run of the regular standard boxes, which probably has more than 100,000 boxes out there by far, also has that card in it at uncommon. So that card is going to be, there's going to be 500,000 copies of that card out there at minimum, you know. I mean, I'm not terribly good with all these numbers and stuff. You can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I don't see how there could possibly be less than 500,000 of that card printed already, because, you know, everything that's out there was printed before WotC shut down. You know, I mean, this stuff was printed months ago. You know, they were showing boxes and, you know, sealed boxes and stuff months and months and months ago. So, you know, this stuff is all printed way ahead of time. They probably have Zendikar being printed, you know. I mean, the next set's probably already been printed. Maybe not, because they do have so many sets coming out. Now, another news topic is that Jumpstart is postponed until July 17th because of, as they say, manufacturing delays on their website. So there is a delay to Jumpstart because of this whole thing. So apparently Jumpstart was being printed when the shutdowns happened, and some of the companies that were printing it are shut down. So there's manufacturing delays with that. I don't know any details to it, but that's just what they said, is due to manufacturing delays, Jumpstart's postponed until July 17th. So keep that in mind. You know, Core 2021 is supposed to come out in June, I think, as well. It was either June or July. So that one may have some issues. I don't know. They may have already gotten that printed and they were doing Jumpstart after that, even though Jumpstart's coming out before that, or was supposed to come out before that. I don't know. So there could be problems with Core 2021. There's obviously problems with Jumpstart, and there's problems with Commander 2020 as well. From what I've seen, people talking about, Commander 2020 has some manufacturing issues right now that they're not going to be able to get that out in time to its fullest extent. Now, some of it is there and ready to go, but apparently some of it is held up because of everything going on. So I'm not sure to the extent of what's going on with that with Commander 2020, but it looks like the prices are going nuts because of the limited supply right now of the Commander 2020. Everybody's trying to overcharge ridiculously. Commander 2020 is getting up to, some people are trying to charge literally $250 for a set of 5 Commander decks. Don't pay that. I pre-ordered mine back in March. I pre-ordered some, a set of them to open on the channel, and I paid $145 for the whole set of 5. And that's what they're probably going to be once the supply catches up, after everything's back opened again and everything's up and running again. most likely that $145 to $150 range is what they're actually going to be worth. So I wouldn't recommend spending more than that. I would be patient if I were you. Be very, very patient. In this crazy time, there's going to be a lot of delays. There's going to be a lot of problems with things. You're best off to be very patient with stuff. If you get impatient and you pay these huge prices, you're going to lose money. There's no way that this set's going to hold at $250 unless, like in 2017, there's a warehouse fire that destroys all the remaining commanders decks, and let's hope that doesn't happen. So yeah, don't get too excited about it. You know, my money's been tied up on that set because I pre-ordered Ikoria back in March when I saw the prices dip down a little back in March. So I've been extremely patient, which is not a quality that I possess a whole lot of. I do like to not wait for things. I'm not the most patient person in the world, so it's been a struggle to be this patient. But try to be patient with it, and remember that, you know, being patient is going to save you a whole lot of money on this whole thing, because it's going to be pretty expensive if you buy it now, because it is way overpriced. People are trying to make a killing on it because of the problems and because they know people are going to be impatient about it. So do yourself a favor. Try to be as patient as possible. Try not to spend the money that people are asking for that. Now it will go down. Once everything's back up and running, all the distributors and watchies at full capacity again and all this, there's definitely going to be a ton more supply hitting the market. I guarantee they're going to make at least as many as they did in 2018 probably. So I'm recommending be very patient. Don't try and jump into it and try and spend a ton of money on the commander decks and stuff, or the boxes. I see the Ikoria boxes, a lot of places are just charging an arm and a leg for them. You can still get them if you buy 4 or more from some places that are offering multi-box discounts. You can get them down to like $82 a box right now. I've ordered a bunch of them at $82 a box, and that's just to hold me over until I'm able to get them at $80 a box, like I get my other standard sets. So yeah, try not to get too much into the hype with Ikoria and overspend on it. And also with the singles, I wanted to give you a warning. There is so many variants of every single card. I mean, even the uncommons and the commons have variants. There's the comic book art on several of the commons and uncommons and the rares and mythics. So, but some of these cards, including uncommons, they will have the standard art. They will have the standard art foil. They will have the comic book art. They will have the comic book art foil. And then they have the alternate showcase art and the extended art and the extended art foil. So there's at least 6 variants of several of the cards. And that's not counting, oh yeah, pre-release 7 variants of a lot of the cards in this set. And I'm not talking a couple of the cards, I'm talking a lot of the cards, because there's uncommon and rare and mythic box toppers as well. So those are what you're seeing in the collector's boxes. So the collector's packs are basically like the first half is your normal cards, but in foil, and then your ancillary, your commander card, and then your extended art and your either box topper or foil rare or mythic, like the regular collector's boxes we've seen in the Throne and Theros. But then there's like a second pack, you know, that's only like a half a pack. And then there's a second pack that's all comic book art. There's a couple comic book arts, and then you got your comic book extended, and then your comic book either box topper or foil, and then your comic book foil just random, like common, uncommon. So there's like, it's kind of like 2 packs in one. It's really cool how they did it. I think it's a really cool product, and I like them. But again, I got mine at $185, so I wouldn't recommend paying, you know, the ridiculous prices people are wanting now. I keep seeing them get posted for 190, 191 here and there. Keep an eye out for them and try and grab them when you see it at that, because the $240 thing is just like Throne of Eldraine. Throne of Eldraine got up to like $300 when it was first released, and then those boxes now you can get for just over $200. You can get them for about $215, $220 if you search. The average price right now on eBay is $220, but I've been able to see them for $210, $215 on several occasions here recently. So as far as Theros collector's boxes, I've been picking those up for $150 all day long. There's some for $150 right now on eBay if you want some. So, I've already bought way too many. I've got 2 sealed cases of those collector's boxes from Theros, and I want to put more money into other products to open on the channel and stuff, and get more of the Ikoria stuff going here. Speaking of which, I do have an Ikoria box, just a regular booster box, coming before release date. I did find a gentleman that has some overseas contacts. I paid twice as much as I should have plus, but I will be able to open one before the release date. So as a newer channel, I'm doing everything I can to try and get you guys that stuff as soon as possible. So, you know, helps out with the views and stuff if I'm a little bit early to the game, but I'm quite late regardless, because so many other people have already gotten their hands on it, because so many other people already had the connections and I'm new, I didn't have the connections. Anyways, the video is already 41 minutes. I want to talk about if you guys think companions are broken. The Luris and Garuda mainly. They look pretty crazy. Companions basically give people a 61st card in their deck that can be cast at any time. That's not in their hand. It's a whole new concept thing, and it's already found its way into Vintage and stuff. So I played a Luris cycling deck the other night that was just absolutely insane. He wasted me pretty quick. So there's and the Garuda decks are pretty crazy. So there's some pretty big shenanigans going on with those cards. Let me know if you think they're gonna get banned before the set even gets released, or what do you think's gonna happen with that. I think those 2 cards are probably gonna get the ban hammer pretty early, because they're already, like I said, dominating in other outside of standard already. So I was going to talk about that. So leave me some comments about that. What you think about the Luris and Garuda companion and companions as a whole, and then also the mutate. Do you think mutate's too powerful? Because mutate gets going pretty crazy. Everybody's going to have to start stacking a lot more removal, because the mutate, once it starts getting going, if you can't get rid of that creature that keeps getting mutated, you're gonna have a bad time. Okay, so let me know what you think about all these topics. What your opinion is. You know, feel free to tell me you think I'm wrong, because I've been wrong before. I'll probably be wrong again. I'm probably wrong at least one of these topics. So that's humans. We're all failable. So anyways, let me know what you think about all these topics, and if your local game store is going to open before June 1st, if they're going to do events and just not do WPN sponsorship events, because WPN's being lame and not sponsoring events until June 1st. Let me know if you were able to get your DCI number combined with your arena number, or how you did that, what you decided to do with that. I do recommend getting into your account and screenshotting everything you can, or backing up all your history, because it may get deleted, and that's really lame. Recommend trying to cash in your Planeswalker's points before they go away. Recommend do not buy Space Godzillas. It's cheaper to buy a box. Just buy a box and open your own Space Godzillas. I mean, there's going to be 2 in every. I've not seen, like I said, I think I've ever seen one collector's box that only had 1. I've never seen a collector's box that had 0. Every collector's box I've ever seen open had at least 1, and that was only 1, I think. All of them I've seen had 1 foil, 1 non-foil at least. So let me know if you think Companion's broken, what do you think about Mutate, and all the variants in Ikoria, and yeah, about the postponings, all that stuff. Oh, and I did get a Shards of Alara premium foil pack that I'm going to be opening soon, so be on the lookout for that. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you out of here. 45 minutes is way too long. I really appreciate you watching. If you watched this long, which is unlikely, but if you did, I really, really appreciate it. Every like, share, subscription, it all means the world to me. Thank you guys so much, and you guys have a great night. Bye.